Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. I'm Braunwynn Franklin, and I want to thank you for taking the time to be here with me. Wherever you're listening from, your car, your living room, doing a walk, or maybe lying awake at night, I hope this conversation meets you exactly where you are. This is called Two Stories. The two stories we live: recovery, self-gaslighting, and the journey back to ourselves. This isn't a podcast about fixing yourself. It's about remembering yourself. Today, we're exploring something I believe every human being experiences. We all live two stories, not because we're dishonest, not because we're fake, but, but because life has a way of writing stories for us before we even old enough to write our own. One story is the one the world hands us. The other story is the one waiting quietly inside of us. Between two stories is where recovery lives. Recovery from addiction, recovery from trauma, recovery from depression, recovery from incarceration, recovery from people pleasing, recovery from perfection, recovery from shame, recovery from believing we were never enough. Today, we'll also talk about something many people don't even realize they're doing: self-gaslighting. And finally, we'll explore what it means to reset, not start over, but return home to ourselves. So settle in, take a break, take a breath, and let's begin. The first story. Every person is born with possibilities, not perfection, possibilities. But almost immediately, our first story begins to be written. It starts with who raised us, who loved us, who abandoned us, who protected us, who harmed us, who believed us, who ignored us. The first story is rarely written by us. It's written around us. Some people have grown up hearing, you can do anything. Others hear, don't speak, don't cry, don't embarrass me. Nobody will believe you. You'll never amount to anything. The brain doesn't simply hear these messages, it stores them. Eventually, they become our identity. Not because they're true, but because repetition sounds like truth. Our first story becomes, I'm difficult, I'm broken, I'm too much, I'm not enough. I have to earn love. I have to survive. Sometimes this story comes from trauma, sometimes from poverty, racism, sexism, addiction, religion, family secrets, prison, mental health, sometimes generational pain handed down without words. The first story often teaches survival, and survival is brilliant, but survival isn't living. So just ask yourself, who wrote the first story about you? Ask yourself, who wrote the first story? What labels were placed on you? Who decided who you were before you had a chance to decide? Think. Don't judge your answers. Just notice them. That's the first story. Now let's talk about the survival self that was created from that first story. Once we believe that first story, we begin protecting it. We create versions of ourselves that can survive. The perfectionist, the caretaker, the people pleaser, the angry one, the invisible one, the achiever, the rescuer, the comedian, the addict, the overworker. Me personally, I have created many of these, except for comedian and addict. I have been a perfectionist. I tried. I tried to be the caretaker. I tried to be the invisible one. I tried to be the achiever. I tried all of these. I'm still working on being the overworker. These aren't personality flaws. They're survival strategies. The tragedy happens when survival becomes identity. And I'm telling you, and I'm coming from a place of familiarity, because this has been my story. I don't think I had an identity of who I truly was until I was into my 40s and started to peel away at who I was inside. So eventually we don't know who we are without these coping mechanisms. Recovery often feels terrifying because we're not just giving up something. We're asking, who am I without this? Who am I without alcohol? Who am I without approval? Who am I without overworking, without pretending, without rescuing everyone, without carrying everyone's pain? Who am I? The survival self kept us alive. So honor it, thank it, but don't mistake it for your whole identity. I know some of that's resonating for some of you all out there. Deeply resonated with me. And how we make it our whole identity and hold on to it, we start to self-gaslight. Have you heard that term before? Self-gaslighting is real. So let's talk about something, because this is incredibly important. Gaslighting originally referred to someone making another person question reality. Self-gaslighting is when we begin doing it to ourselves. Yeah, I've done it. It sounds like it wasn't that bad. I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm too sensitive. I probably deserved it. I should be over this. Everyone handles life different. I must be the problem. I'll say, what's the common denominator? I'm the common denominator. I can't trust my own feelings. This happens after years of our experiences being dismissed. We start to dismiss ourselves. Eventually, we become the ones dismissing ourselves. This is heartbreaking. Gaslighting disconnects us from our intuition. It disconnects us from grief, anger. It disconnects us from joy, disconnects us from truth. Recovery asks us to stop arguing with our own experiences. Healing begins when we say, what happened mattered. My feelings matter. My body remembers. My story deserves compassion. Ask yourself, where have I minimized my own pain? Where have I convinced myself something didn't matter? What truth have I been afraid to believe? Then one day, the second story, something happens. Maybe it's therapy. Maybe it was prison. Maybe it was recovery. Maybe it was a loss. Maybe it was becoming a parent. Maybe it was illness. Maybe a conversation. Maybe complete exhaustion. But something interrupted the first story. And for me, just being all honest and being transparent, it was prison. Prison interrupted my first story and then became my recovery. So when that first story got interrupted, it might look something like you begin to ask different questions. Instead of what's wrong with me, you ask what happened to me. Instead of why can't I change, you ask what have I been protecting? Instead of why am I failing, asking what am I learning? The second story isn't written by fear, it's written by awareness, by compassion, by truth. This is where recovery really begins. This is where the resetting within starts. Resetting isn't becoming someone new. It's removing what never belonged. Resetting says, I don't need permission to rest. I don't need to earn my worth. I don't need everyone to understand me. I don't need to carry every burden. I don't need to replay every mistake. Resetting is remembering, returning, and reconnecting. Sometimes a reset looks traumatic. It could be leaving a job. It could be ending a relationship. It could be starting therapy. It could be going back to school. Sometimes it's almost invisible. Something as plain as drinking water, taking medication, being able to say no. No is a complete sentence. N-O period. Getting enough sleep. Walking outside. Breathing. Man, it's been so many times I've been so overwhelmed and so frustrated and stuff that I had someone tell me, Braunwynn, breathe. And now I pay attention to that when I get to that place and I catch myself where I'm not breathing. It could be as simple as writing, journaling, writing poetry, writing your book, writing a song. It could be praying. It could be meditating. It could look like calling someone safe. Small resets become a part of the new life. If you are willing to take this small guided meditation with me, if you feel safe, close your eyes. Take slow breaths, inhaling through the nose, holding, and then exhaling out the mouth. Again, take a breath in and release. Now imagine standing in front of two books. One book is worn, heavy. Its pages filled with stories others have written about you. The second book is blank. It's beautiful. It's waiting. Imagine yourself walking towards the blank book. Place your hand on it. Whisper to yourself, I'm allowed to rewrite my story. I release what never belonged to me. I honor every version of myself that helped me survive. I welcome the version that is ready to live. Now take another deep breath. Imagine light filling every page. This story belongs to you. No one else gets to write it. And as we finish today, I want you to leave you with this thought. You are not only the hardest thing you ever lived through, you are also every moment you choose to keep going. Recovery isn't about becoming someone else. It's about uncovering the person trauma convinced you didn't exist. Maybe today your reset is tiny. Like I mentioned earlier, maybe it's drinking water or making a phone call. Maybe it's forgiving yourself. And maybe it's simply just deciding to believe your own experience. whatever your reset is, honor it. Because healing isn't measured by speed, it's measured by honesty. Thank you for spending these moments with me. If today's conversation spoke to you, share it with someone who may need to hear that they are more than the story that they've been handed. And until next time, take care of yourself, protect your peace, lead with compassion, and whatever life feels overwhelming, remember to anchor within.